comes to AWS services, there are different categorization. Okay, so there are certain services which are regional in nature, and there are certain services which are non-regional, which are global and stuff. So you can, when you're working on a design, you can just go and look at the regional services or the products which are available in a particular location, so on. See, when you are doing a solutioning for a customer as a solutions architect or a pre-sales architect, you should never assume that all the services are available in all the regions. Okay, that is very, very important. Certain services, certain foundational services or core services might become available in all the regions very quickly, but then certain services will not be available in some regions or some location until that particular region has a real need for that. So AWS service types can be subdivided into three categories: zonal services, regional services, and global services. So I'll give you some example. With that, you will be able to relate it. See, when you go and certain create some virtual machines or stuff, you have to go and select which availability zone you are creating or which data center you are creating. So each services are independent on each particular so for example, whenever you go and create Amazon EC2, you will select it which data center you are going to create the block storage or EC2 instances. So a zonal service means it provides the ability to specify which data center. So availability zone or zone here is nothing but your data center, or which is nothing but your availability zone in AWS. Okay, so data center, you can select which data center you want to create the VM, and if in case you want redundancy, you have to go and create multiple resources in another availability zone. So that's how you go and create a zonal service. So availability zones gives customer an option to go and create production workload, and it can become highly available, fault tolerant if you are creating multiple servers for the same workload in different availability zone or different data centers. So this is mainly for bringing high availabilities for your different services. There are certain services which are kind of regional services. Let's say if you are creating Amazon DynamoDB, or if you are creating SQS, or if you are creating similar services like databases, these are all services which are regional services, which means automatically when you go and create these services, your service becomes multi zonal available or multi-zone available. So you don't have to really work on the zonal services and stuff. So it is, if a single particular availability goes down, your service will not be impacted in this regional concept. So Amazon DynamoDB can still be accessible even if there is single availability zone or two availability zone going to issues in a particular region. Only if all the availability zone in that region goes down, then your availability of that particular service will be impacted. So regional service means by default, these services have redundancy and independence of availability zone. It is created on with fault tolerance by default, and your durability and availability is very high. Even Amazon S3, for an example, it gets multiple copies in multiple availability zone or multiple data center. Even if one data center goes down, your data will still be available, because whatever you are creating, this DynamoDB or Amazon S3, these endpoints are regional endpoints, which means it's not specific to a data center. So you get a regional endpoint for that particular service. So it will not impact because of one particular data center goes down. So if the entire region goes down, then you have to go and enable geo redundancy, or you have to do a cross region replication of that particular service to improve high availability beyond a region for this regional service. Okay, there are certain services which are global in nature. For example, your DNS or your AWS directories related stuff. So even you are accessing this AWS website, right? So that is also a kind of global service, which is like a kind of control plane, and you can access it even when a particular even if a particular region is down, your IAM, your Route 53. So these services will still be available. Okay, let me give some examples here. AWS IAM or Network Manager, Route 53. account management console. So AWS control plane, right? So control plane services means like I'm talking about AWS organization, AWS account management, your AWS portal by itself is a global service. So if there is a single availability zone issue or a single region issue, your these services will not get impacted. Okay, so this is how your different services are grouped and categorized. So there are many different services like AWS WAF, Certificate Manager, Global Accelerator, AWS Shield. Those are all global services. You can go and check a complete list. I think there is a list available in AWS portal where you can go and look out the list of services which are regional. See, this is mainly for the solution architect or the pre-sales architect to do the design. And as I told you, not all the services or products are available in all the regions. So you have to go and verify the availability of that service in different geographical locations. Just a second. Okay, fine. So any questions on this one? See, AWS has categorized their products or services based on the criticality and the fault isolation boundary requirement. Okay, so this is the three different categories that you need to understand. So now we will start. Okay, go ahead.
Stanley, yeah, this Giri. See, if I want to have a fault tolerance, okay, in the sense, I'm talking about in the perspective of Oracle, okay.
Mhm.
So what they do, I got office in Bangalore and on one reason in London, in India and London. Okay, if my physical server fails in India, automatically within a few seconds or few minutes. In London, the server will come up. Okay, that is
Mhm.
called a fault tolerance we have got.
Mhm.
The same concept is adapted here. Or if I want to go for this fault tolerance, which services I have to adopt?
Okay, Giri. So maybe see, I will answer to your question for now. You will get to understand a lot of different things. So when you are a solution architect, when you are architecting for HA, which is high availability, right? So let's take the same example which you have highlighted. I'll mute your line. There is some small background noise. Okay. So here you talked about Oracle, which is a relational database. Just a second. I'll Okay, yeah, relational database as an example, right? So Amazon RDS, it's a relational database service. Even this Oracle is an example which comes under the RDS. So when you go and create two databases in two availability zone, okay, so what happens is like you get synchronous replication. When I say synchronous replication, both the databases will be having the same exact data within that. So you have a highly available environment, and this is a kind of automatic failover if the primary data center goes down, or primary availability is impacted. The failover detection mechanism will find out that fault and automatically it will switch over. So with this particular two databases in two availability zone, you get a SLA for your application or for your database of 99.95 percentage, which is like very less 5 minutes downtime in a month kind of. So, but then if you want to go for Amazon RDS for Oracle, okay, especially within Oracle, so you can, what you can do is you can, as you know, it's Amazon RDS, it supports read replica. And when I say read replica, you can have read writable copy in one region, and the second copy can be just a read replica in another region. And how do they replicate this particular stuff? They use Oracle Active Data Guard for replicating between the data centers in the same region, or even the cross region read replica can also be enabled. So which means, like as you told, if you have US or London having the same copy, you can use this Oracle Active Data Card to have a kind of standby in a different geographical region, and you can switch over your application to that secondary region. Even as a third option, you can also go for Oracle Golden Gate, which is also a kind of clustering concept in Oracle, right? You can also integrate it with Amazon RDS, and that is also supported for, you can replicate the entire database, or you can also do it at the table level also. So that is the advantage of going with Oracle Golden Gate. And this is like a kind of, as you said, you can have one region, or you can do it between two different regions. Even it is supported as a hybrid option also. You can have one database copy in AWS and the other copy on VMware Cloud on AWS also. So you can use Oracle Golden Gate to replicate between these two. So you can do it. Yeah, you can also have Oracle RAC also. Oracle Real Application Cluster also can be configured in VMware Cloud on AWS. So there are different solutions that you can provide. Most of them are supported.
Reason I have to select.
Sorry?
So, for example, you said the zonal services,
Uh-huh.
regional services, global services.
Uh-huh.
For that, which reason I have to select?
No. See,
If
regional
all these,
services. See, it is like I said. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw that stuff yesterday. See, we have a kind of
oh,
AWS
actually,
latency test. Yeah. So
yesterday I did not.
yeah. So
Okay,
you
okay.
can go and do a latency test for your from your application and identify which region will be better for your workload and for your end users or customers. And you can also choose which geography is better for your legal compliancy requirement. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Fine. So in a nutshell, like you can architect for high availability, even whatever Oracle Golden Gate or Oracle Real Cluster Rack. If you want to go with any options, all these options are supported. Real Application Cluster. Even I think there is one more option called Flash Grid Cluster, which is a kind of virtual cloud appliance that can also be used. But that solution they have solution with Amazon EC2. It's not a Oracle RDS, sorry, Amazon RDS solution. With Amazon EC2, you can also have high availability configured using Flash Grid Cluster. I've seen some customers going with that option also. This is for Oracle again. Fine. So, I mean, for now, just don't get confused. I just answered Giri's question. Okay, so this is only for him. So here, each of your services has got different category, and based on the type of the products and services. So some products you have to design for high availability across different zone, across different region, and some services are by default global in nature, where you don't have to really worry about it. Okay, so now where I was heading towards. So I was heading towards the first service, which is EC2, and we will start exploring services one by one.